Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the 2011 keynote speech to MIPJunior. My name is Ramin Zahed. I'm the editor-in-chief of Animation Magazine. And I feel very lucky to introduce our keynote speaker today, Mr. Sam Register, who is the Executive VP of Creative Affairs at Warner Brothers Animation. Of course, he needs no introduction, but they asked me to do this. So he oversees the production and development of new programs and content for Warner Brothers Animation, DCBeyond.com, KidsWB.com. On his slate right now is Batman, the Brave and the Bold, the Looney Tunes show, Mad, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, ThunderCats, Young Justice, and in January we're all going to see the Green Lantern, the animated series, which is going to be much better than the movie. And of course, over the years, we've written about Sam for many, many years, and since he was at Cartoon Network, he's overseen lots of shows, Teen Titans, Ben 10, which became such a phenomenal show and franchise, launched it was the first action animated series for Cartoon Network, and it went on to inspire a movie and several seasons of the show. And right now he's also working on animated shorts based on the Looney Tunes characters. Last year, one of them was shortlisted for an Oscar, and this year it's also going to be entering the race. And he's also, among the other things he's done through the years, he developed a wonderful relationship with Lucasfilm for Cartoon Network, Star Wars Clone Wars, Duck Dodgers, Justice League. He even has a character named after him, the Teen Titans comic book series, so you can look that up. So without further ado, I bring to you Mr. Sam Register.
Thank you. It's good to see the people outnumber the rabbits at the moment. I guess that's a good showing. Well, thank you all for, where's the clicker? Here's the clicker. Hi. Thank you for coming. This is my first MIPJunior. I have not attended. I've had a long career in animation and kids, but this is the first time I've actually had the pleasure to attend, and what an honor to attend as the keynote. So I'm going to talk to you guys today. I wanted this to be educational and not just plug Warner Brothers. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about how are we handling our library and how we are revitalizing our characters and how we are keeping them relevant. And I do not have too much time, and I want to leave some time for questions and answers, so I will move quickly. Warner Brothers Animation has been around a long time. We started producing Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies in 1933. We are still a working studio today. That is a long time. We are a studio that was founded on pen and ink. So we've been around a while. And through continued production and acquisitions, Warner Brothers oversees one of the largest animation libraries. That's what I'm going to talk to you about today. So these are the libraries that we are currently in charge of. Warner Brothers, clearly, the Looney Tunes, all the Hanna-Barbera characters, which includes Scooby-Doo, MGM, which is Tom and Jerry, mostly, and then DC. Hanna-Barbera and DC, I think, have thousands of characters in each of those categories. It's a lot of characters. It's a lot of characters in our library. This library is very important to Warner Brothers. It's why we exist. Because this library, we have control of this library, is because what allows us to be an animation studio. For example, domestically, our friends at Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and Disney, they all have studios, and they all have networks to fill those studios and to continue the pipeline. We at Warner Brothers do not necessarily have a network. We have to pitch to Cartoon Network like anyone else, and it's not a guarantee that we will get our shows on the air, which means what does help us get our shows on the air are these characters. So to give you an example of how important these characters are, excuse me, let's look at our current production. This is what we have in the pipeline currently. So in TV, we have Looney Tunes, Mad, Young Justice, Scooby-Doo, Green Lantern, Batman, Justice League, Scooby-Doo. We do about 4 to 7 direct-to-videos a year. These are 4 of the ones that are coming up this year. And then the theatrical shorts, which we'll talk a little bit more about. If you look at everything we're doing, that is all based on the library I just showed you. So currently, we have nothing in the pipeline that is original. So when I get a lot of calls when I came here for people that want to show me their stuff, I said, no, thank you, because currently we're really not taking any pitches because we are busy. I got a lot of emails, a lot of calls to meet and see new properties. I can't. Stuffed with content. So this is all the stuff that we're doing. I pulled this to give you an example of our library, because our library is aging. So every year that goes on, all these characters that we have that I was just talking about that are so great, every year that comes by, our characters become more in danger of losing their value if we don't produce stuff. So this is, and I'm going to say a library property is 20 years plus. But clearly, that's not always necessarily the case. Anyone can have a library. But for this, we have a lot of our characters that are up there. I'm afraid that in 5 or 10 years, this list will look even more different, and our characters will find themselves off the list. So it's my job to keep our characters relevant. But if you think about all these characters, but also think about what's going on in the movies now. Smurfs came out. Beavis and Butthead are coming back, thank goodness. Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, Transformers, Spider-Man. I mean, these libraries clearly have value. And for us, it's important that we take advantage of that. So it's our responsibility to keep these characters going, not just for television ratings, but because clearly our shows generate value to our home video, our consumer products, our games divisions, and our international television. So there's a place for these characters. So I guess the question is, how do we keep these characters relevant? My assumption is there are people here in the audience who also have libraries. So how do we keep our characters relevant? How do we keep these characters in the minds of kids and still out there in the public? This is hard. And so what I'm going to take you through is 3 case studies on the television side of how we've done this. How we've done it with the Looney Tunes, ThunderCats, and the upcoming Green Lantern series, to give you an example of how we take advantage. This is how we do it. We ask 2 questions of ourselves on every property. Now, the first question is how do you choose your properties? Well, if there's a big Green Lantern movie, we're going to probably make an animated series. The Looney Tunes, someone's got to do something with the Looney Tunes. You can't just let them die. So how we get there, there's usually a reason. But we ask ourselves, when we get the characters, before we start development, before we start production, what is core about this property? What is core about this character? And then what can I change? Because if I just try to make what was core the first time, I will fail. If I try to make the Looney Tunes as good as they once were, I will not be able to do it. If I try to make ThunderCats as exactly as it was before, I will fail at it. So there's no point in trying to make it as good as it once was. That ship has sailed. So these are the questions. I'm going to take you through how we do this. So before any of this happens, and when we start asking these questions, we get in a big room at Warner Brothers, and there's executives and creative people, but we ask, and we have to find a creative showrunner and producer. I am a busy guy. I oversee lots of shows and a studio and all the other things that I have to do. I have executives who all have own shows that they take care of. But in the end, there needs to be one person who is going to shepherd your show from beginning to end. That is the showrunner and the producer. This person is paramount to the production. I cannot do anything good unless this guy or girl is good too. They are very important. They need to love the property. They need to care about it as much as I do. It's better if they care more about it. If they like something about these characters more than me, that's great. So we have to find a creative showrunner producer who's passionate about the property, someone who has a point of view, and finally, will fight for it. I love a producer who argues with me. It means that they love this stuff. It means that I want them to argue. I want them to have a point of view. I want them to fight. In the end, I'll get my way. I am the boss, and I do what I want. No. But if they have a point of view that's good, if they have a point of view that's different, I have to sit and listen. Now, if I've really made up my mind, or one of the other executives have really made up their mind, they may not get their way. It's happening currently on a Batman show, actually. He hasn't emailed me like in 3 days, the producer. He's mad. But he's fighting for it. And in the end, hopefully, he'll like me. So let's start with the Looney Tunes. This is the hardest one ever. These are the best characters ever created, in my opinion. They are fantastic. When I got to Warner Brothers, I did not want to touch this. I was coming up with grassroots campaigns. I'm like, let's do a grassroots campaign. You know what that means? It's like, I don't want to deal with the rabbit because the rabbit scares the shit out of me. And the reason he does is because he's so good, because it was done so well. I will never be able to do it as well the first time. However, the Looney Tunes were losing relevance. There was some research that we had at Warner Brothers, and kids thought Sylvester, his name was Sparkles. So when I saw that, I realized that we needed to do something. It was very difficult. So we ended up with the Looney Tunes show. And it was an incredibly difficult, long process on how we got there. We started production before we actually really knew what the show was. I went over budget, just FYI. But I had the support of Warner Brothers to say, you gotta, get it right. That's also nice. So what was core about the Looney Tunes? These are the questions that we asked. What did we have to keep no matter what? So iconic characters. You can't just make Bugs Bunny different. He's got to be somewhat the same. Smart dialogue. It was funny. It was well written. They were smart characters. They were saying smart things. Physical humor. People got hit on the head with anvils. It's very important. Music. Everyone remembers What's Opera Doc. I mean, music was a big part of what made Looney Tunes great. So then the next question, and the voices. This was the hardest. We got it right most of the time, but that was really hard. But we had to try our hardest. Sometimes we had to make a decision, who is the better actor versus who sounds exactly like Speedy Gonzales. We could find someone that sounds like Speedy Gonzales, but can he act? Can he actually emote? Do you believe that he is a rat? So what did we change? Well, the character designs, clearly. And that, again, goes back to, if I draw Bugs Bunny the original way, I will fail. If I draw Bugs Bunny exactly the way he was done before, with the budgets that I have in television, people will look at it and think, that's not as good as the original, and they will be right. So the minute we change the designs, that gives us some freedom to do some other things with the characters. Format. The original Looney Tunes were 7 minutes each. If you made a show based of 3 7-minutes for a 22-minute show, I'm asking my viewer to turn the channel at the end of the first and second segments. That is unacceptable. So we needed to create a format that was more of a 22-minute, and it turned into a sitcom. That was not the plan, but that's how it worked out. Character relationships. Believe it or not, Bugs Bunny and Tweety never met in the Looney Tunes, ever. Shocking, I know. But they had never met. And so we had to change some of the relationships. The characters needed to know each other in ways that are different. And we created an environment to allow that to happen. And we also added these music videos. So we know we wanted to keep music. So we decided to change that. And inside the 22-minute format is that there's a merry melody in each episode that allowed a character to do some music and allowed us to dig deeper in the library. Some characters that may not necessarily be getting a fair shake on the show would be able to actually show up in a music video. And the settings, as I said, this takes place in a suburb where Bugs and Daffy are roommates. And it's a little like The Odd Couple. It was a little bit like Seinfeld. Again, we never planned for that. this has seemed like this is how it ended up. So I'm going to show you a clip. This is a clip. Lola Bunny is played by Kristen Wiig. And this is a scene with Lola and Bugs Bunny at dinner.
Hi! Oh, no, nothing. I'm just on a date with a really cute guy. He's sitting across from me right now. He's totally looking at me. Oh, no, wait. Now he's looking down. Now he's looking around. Oh, nope, he's looking at me again. I better go. Okay, call me later. Okay, bye.
Friend of yours?
Nope, wrong number. Oh, is there butter in this? I'm not supposed to have butter. I'm allergic to butter. Oh, no, wait, it's gluten, not butter. I'm allergic to gluten. No, wait, not gluten, pollen. Oh, no, wait, I love pollen. Is there pollen in this? Can I get some pollen in this? You know what, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't really want carrot soup. Actually, maybe just one little taste. Oh, that's good. Oh, maybe just one more. Oh, one more. Just one more. You can really taste the pollen. Are you gonna eat yours?
So that's an example of how we changed the format. ThunderCats. All right, who remembers ThunderCats? Great. So ThunderCats is probably the last great 80s property. All the great 80s properties have come back. I don't know if that's good or not. They keep talking about them. So this was one that hadn't come back yet. There had been some tries at Warner Brothers over the years. Hadn't happened. There was a movie plan, didn't happen. So, but ThunderCats, I knew when I got there, this is something that people really loved, really cared about. So it was time to try to do something. So again, we created a new ThunderCats that actually premiered recently and has been doing very well. And more importantly, the toys are selling like crazy. That is good. So we asked ourselves what was core about the ThunderCats. There's a team. There was 5 characters running around. They needed to stay. Hero's journey. There was a boy. He's a kid, and he's going to turn into a man, and that stayed. Swords and science. Very cool. That when swords meet science, kids seem to love it. We wanted to keep that. We wanted to come up with a way that it made sense. They did that in the original because they just threw it in there. We wanted to come out why. The original song was extremely important. And for the 4 people that held up their hand, you will know why. That song was very important. We wanted to keep the song. I paid a lot of money to get the song. But it was important. There was going to be the Thunder Dads out there who were going to really whine that we had changed the song. So we kept the song. What did we change? We updated the mythology. It made no sense. There were cats from a planet, and they were naked, and then they got clothes on, and there was a guy. I mean, we kind of sat there like, well, should we try to keep it? And it was like, you know what, let's throw it out. No one, by the way, cares. 7 people on the internet care. Layered characters. Let's care about those 5 people. Before, it was she runs fast, he's a panther. So we wanted to give characters, we wanted to make them actually interesting and somewhat engaging. Anime production. Now, there's 2 reasons why we did anime. One was we wanted to do Lord of the Rings, the animated series. We wanted scope. The Japanese do scope for a budget better than anybody in 2D. Also, in America, currently, there are so many action shows in production that if I tried to put yet another one, it would be a very short talent pool that I would get to do on the ThunderCats. So what we decided to do is put a lot of the pre-production in Japan. It sounds like it was all because it's anime, but it was also a necessity. There weren't enough people to actually draw it. Real stakes. People die. Cats die, I guess. But we wanted to make sure that it felt like there was something happening. So I'll show you a clip of ThunderCats.
It's time to go home.
What now?
We can try to find another way out of this briar.
Retreat? ThunderCats never retreat. I say we face the lizards and hope for the best. We're all leaves passing in the wind, here and then gone. But while we're here, we live to the fullest. Thunder! 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 ThunderCats!
So, you know that thunder, thunder, thunder? That goes in the core aisle. That was exactly the original one, and people scream. This is the idea of why we did that. That animation of the logo, they went frame by frame and looked at the original one. The guy that I told you about, the producer, the person who loves it more than me, he went in frame by frame and made sure that it came up the same way. That passion shows up on the screen and makes, hopefully, a success. All right, Green Lantern. Now, this one's a little different. He was never a series before. He was a comic book character. He was a guest star a lot of the time. But there was a giant movie coming. I mean, this is synergy. We are part of Warner Brothers, and there was a big movie coming. And when we know there's a big movie coming, whether it's Green Lantern or Batman, we decide, when there's going to be a lot of toys, we decide, let's really pump it up. So what we ended up with Green Lantern, the animated series. Why is it called Green Lantern, the animated series? It's because Bruce Timm, who's probably the best TV action guy of all time, I had to drag him out of doing DTVs to do this, and to do CG. This man did not talk to me for months because he didn't want to do CG. Now he loves it. So it was our first CG show. This is a very important show to us. It looks fantastic. We are very proud of it. We think it is going to be great. So what was core about Green Lantern? Well, he was Han Solo, essentially. He's sort of the lovable rogue character. He's sort of winking. He kind of knows what's going on. The comic book mythology, where he gets his ring, how he becomes Green Lantern, that stuff has to stay. And that he was a solo hero, that he was this one guy, that was core. What did change? CG. It's huge. I mean, doing stuff in CG, by the way, very expensive. I had to go in and pray and get on my hands and knees to men with ties at Warner Brothers to get the money to do this, but it was important to do it. And why? Transformers, Tron, Ninja Turtles, they're all in CG. We need to be in CG too. Original storyline, we wanted to tell something new with the characters, but that also a storyline that helped us work within CG. I could not do ThunderCats at the price that I'm doing CG. ThunderCats would be $15 million an episode. So I had to figure out how we do something that worked with CG. And we wanted to do a buddy series. We wanted to sort of have him show up with another character. And he's a cop. He's a space cop. Cops are good when they have partners. Before I do that, let's see some of Green Lantern. This one's a long clip, but I'm proud of it, I guess.
Not going to be happy. Forget about snaring it, just blast it.
Warning, shield degrading. Direct hit to port ampules. Shields degrading to critical. Please do not let that happen again.
Get ready to fire when I clear that rock.
Your feeble constructs are crushed beneath the Red Lantern's might.
Red Lantern? What the North is a Red Lantern?
These guys, I'm guessing. Let's move!
I am Atrocitus, Lord and Master of the Red Lantern Corps. I'm the one who will destroy the Guardians and all they stand for. I am wrath. I am hate. I am righteous vengeance. Now we can get back to nailing those Red Lanterns. Did you see that?
What? Out the window? In space?
There. Right there.
Right where?
I am not crazy. I saw something there.
What is up with you?
So that is Green Lantern. That's going to be coming out soon. Thank you. We got the opportunity a couple years ago to start producing theatrical shorts again. This is part of the legacy of what was Warner Brothers Animation. And for us to have the opportunity to get back on the big screen in front of our great movies was a privilege and something we did not take lightly. Last year we did 3 Roadrunner and Coyotes, very short, that went in front of some of Warner Brothers movies. We were shortlisted for an Oscar in one of them. This year, we are doing 3 more. We're doing another Roadrunner, but we are also bringing back Tweety and Sylvester in CG, and this is also full stereoscopic, and finally, Daffy and Elmer. The budgets for these are very high. They've been very cool about letting us spend the money. We did something very cool here, and it kind of goes to the core, is Mel Blanc, the original voice of these characters, did kids' records in the late 40s. We bought those records. They were never animated to. And we pulled those tracks off the records, and we created new cartoons over never-seen-before Mel Blanc tracks. This was something that was both core, but it allowed us to do something to honor the original Mel Blanc and also do something new. So what was core about these theatrical shorts? Everything is core. Everything is, this is classic. We don't need to do this in the, I don't have to do a list. Try to make it, we also have the money, try to make it look as close and feel as close to the originals as possible. What did we change? We're doing it in CG. We're updating it. We're going to do it also in stereoscopic. I'm going to show you a clip at the end of Daffy's Rhapsody to give you an idea of what this looks like.
Bang, bang here and bang, bang there. Bullets flying everywhere. I can't stand it any longer. I get weak and they get stronger. Hunters to the right of me. Hunters to the left I see. Over hill and over dale. Bullets whizzing past my tail. There's no rest and there's no peace. Won't the shooting ever cease? Morning, noon, and through the night. That's why I look such a fright. Bang, bang, bang. I'm only 16 yards ahead. Bang, bang, bang. They're shooting straight at me. Woo, woo, woo. They won't let up until I'm dead. Woo, woo, woo. Why can't they let me be? Why don't they hunt big wild moose or chase a reindeer on the loose? If possum, chipmunk, caribou, or rabbit for a rabbit stew. Raccoon, squirrels, porcupine, monkey swinging on the vine. Leopards with or without slots. Wildcats with or without dots. Elephants, badgers, kangaroo. Lions, tigers, cows that moo. Wolves, mice, and prairie ox. Red and gray and silver fox. Daffy, they drive me daffy. Those hunters with their great big guns. They're all their uncles, cousins, fathers, sons, crazy. They got me hazy. With all that rootin', hootin', 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 highfalutin, noisy shootin' closer. They're getting closer. With shotgun, pistols, bows and arrows, rifles, knives, and other deadly trifles. Scram now, while I'm still able. You're nuts if you think that I'm gonna end up on somebody's dinner table. So goodbye. So long now.
Now I'm wee mad.
Thanks. It was really great to put a gun in the hands of Elmer Fudd. We don't do that on TV, but he pointed it at our faces. So DC Nation, quickly and moving along, how does this process work, not just on a series or shorts, but on a block? So we have recently announced that Warner Brothers Animation, DC Comics, and Cartoon Network are going to create a 1-hour block, a destination for our superhero programming. So what does that mean? That means that the 2.5 hours of programming that we are currently working on, Green Lantern and Young Justice, will also coming back, will be in this block. It's a 3-year deal, and we will continue to make new shows. In between, you can see we have things called interstitials and shorts. So what does that mean? We have 3 content blocks. Episodic, which are the shows, shorts, which are going to be short, little animated bits, a minute plus, based on the huge library of characters, and interstitials, live action news segments that allow you to see what's going on actually around the DC Nation. So it doesn't just feel like we are an animated property and we are static. There's a lot of things that are happening with DC, and real people make that come alive to children. What makes this really important was that we were able to, with all that content, is every week on Cartoon Network, you will see something new. Now, whether that's a new show or an interstitial or a short, but it promises the viewer that they will be able to see something new every time they come on. So these are the kind of things that we'll do in shorts. Aardman Animation is creating sort of creature comfort-like animated shorts with our characters. They are hysterical. That was a tough one to show DC. Wasn't sure if they were going to go for that one. Supergirl, the recent creator of My Little Pony, is coming and doing a bunch of cartoons based on Supergirl, Wonder Girl, and Batgirl, super best friends forever, SBFFs. And Doom Patrol, a very cool action show that deep inside the library, or short, that we're going to do something new with. Interstitials, again, allow us to show people. This is an insane collector who loves DC dolls and who actually may be scary to children. I don't know if he's going to make it on the show. This is a NASCAR driver, the youngest NASCAR driver. This is a content that will show that we are relevant. So what is core? Legendary comic book characters. We have them. We got to do something with them. Action adventure, of course. Fans of all ages. We were talking about ThunderDads. People love these characters. People want to watch them with their kids. So we want to make sure that we're hitting everybody. What did we change? We're making it a 1-hour block. We've never done that before. Shorts. We haven't done that before either. Allows us to dig deep into the library. And behind the scenes, we can go where we haven't necessarily gone before. And now I'm going to show you a sizzle reel for this quickly, and then we're almost done.
DC Nation on Cartoon Network.
Hey, I'm Trevor Bain, the youngest NASCAR driver to ever win the Daytona 500. But today, I'm really excited to be here at the Warner Brothers Studios to check out the Batmobiles. I never knew this is what the Batcave would look like, but isn't this awesome? This one's got a chrome-plated jet engine.
The first Mego I ever got was this removable cowl Batman. Shazam, fist-fighting Riddler. Aquaman says, "Stay tuned."
Plastic Man, the pliable paladin. Don't you realize you could be drinking a known felon?
You're in DC Nation.
Thanks for watching DC Nation on Cartoon Network.
So that's coming out spring at Cartoon Network. Other genres, I forgot one. So we can go, there's comedy, there's detectives, there's other things that are not necessarily guys in tights. So what's the future at Warner Brothers Animation? Clearly we're doing a lot. I'm going to show you a little bit what we have in development. Beware the Batman. This will be our next CG series. This is what's core. Batman looks like Batman. What did we change? All those characters around him a little bit different. We went in deeper into the villain library, pulled out some other villains. We didn't want to do another Joker story. There's too many of them, and we just needed to do something new. So we're starting off with new villains. Alfred packing heat this time. And finally, Katana is going to be his new Robin, but not necessarily. Everyone's a little bit different. We've just started production on this. This is from producer Glenn Murakami, who did Teen Titans. I worked with him on Teen Titans and has been working on Ben 10 for the last 4 years. So we're very lucky to have him back at Warner Brothers. The Tom and Jerry Show. So that huge list of library characters, this is the one that was next. And the reason we waited was we wanted to make sure we got the Looney Tunes right first. But Tom and Jerry is in development currently, and hopefully will be on the air sometime late next year, if not after. Okay, what does this slide mean? So everything we showed was stuff in the library. We have a pretty large development slate of alternative animation. Animation that is made for the cable adult audience. Clearly, Adult Swim, Comedy Central has broken big ground here. It's a place that we want to play in also. Conan O'Brien, we're doing something with his production company. He's on the lot. And some of these are other things that we have actually in development. And we'll see. It's a different audience. We're doing a lot of stuff with kids. It allowed us to do something a little bit new. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Yes. Yeah, sure. No, 2D. Very expensive, so no. We tried. We did a lot of tests. Nothing. It scared us. Yes?
Hey, how creatively do you and your team get involved in some of the other platform stuff like apps and games and virtual worlds and what have you? Do you get involved in that?
That's great with Warner Brothers. There's probably a guy like me for every one of those things you just said. So we do work with those guys. We make the animation. We make it as good as we can, the most compelling content, and hopefully games and comic books and toys often will come from that. Anyone else? Any other questions? Yes, sir? No, I will not. Very expensive. So sorry. It's more expensive than our 2D. It's less than the Green Lantern movie was. There's the range for you. Anyone else? Thank you very much.